Hello, my name is Isabel Ranney,
I'm Rachel Fletcher.
and this is our research design about the relationship between sexual assault and female trust.
So our research question is, how has media coverage of recent sexual assault allegations, such as the #MeToo movement, affected female voters' trust in government, particularly when it comes to their civil rights?
For our variables, our independent variable is media coverage, which we have defined as sexual assault allegations covered in social media, news media, television, radio, and other forms. Our dependent variable is trust in government, which we have defined as the extent to which females believe they are safe under the current government, especially regarding their civil rights. And for civil rights, we have used the Oxford University Press's 2018 definition, which is the rights of citizens to political and social freedom and equality.
So a brief overview of our methodology. We'll be starting by using random sampling, but purposive and convenience samples. Purposive in that we do want to obtain a sample of females ages 24 to 36. Females being defined as any female that identifies as either the binary or non-binary definition. Convenience in that our sample will be taken from the Arizona State Graduate School, and at least in this initial trial. Hopefully it will spread beyond that. We will also be using a non-experimental design in that we are conducting a survey plus a focus group. Our hope is to get a big N of 1,000 females, with 100 females coming in per weekend to do the survey and the focus group. Finally, we will be utilizing the running record in order to keep track of the media coverage of sexual assault allegations over a period of time.
For the survey, we will have demographic questions, media coverage and exposure questions, trust in government questions, and questions pertaining specifically to the government's ability to protect civil rights. Once the survey is completed, the 100 participants will be randomly assigned to 5 focus groups with 20 participants each. The survey answers will help inform topics discussed in the focus group. If we see any outliers or subject areas that maybe we aren't focusing enough on in questions, we will alter them as needed. And the questions and the conversations recorded will be watched overtly. Here are some examples of survey questions. The first is, how favorably did you feel towards Donald Trump prior to 2016? And the second is, how favorably do you currently feel about Donald Trump? And we are utilizing feeling thermometers for both.
So for our literature review, we analyzed many sources. However, in this presentation, we've only chosen to highlight a couple. And we chose these sources because they show how contradictory the information on this subject is. For example, following the Anita Hill-Clarence Thomas scandal, we saw that there was a more unified group identity among women, leading to a rise in media coverage of women's work and home lives, and an increase in election of female candidates. Furthermore, it also led to an increase in media coverage of sexual assault and an increased discussion about women's rights and specific women's issues. It also led to greater female participation in politics.
Contrary to that, we found that, according to a poll conducted by Gallup in 1998, President Bill Clinton's presidential approval rating reached its highest point at 73% during his impeachment trials. Even further, in Miller's book, Sex, Politics, and Public Opinion, What Political Scientists Really Learned from the Clinton-Lewinsky Scandal, Bill Clinton's presidential approval rating increased after every piece of seemingly damaging evidence of his affair emerged.
So as you can see, both of these pieces of information really go against the other, leading us to be slightly confused about what the expected results in this case would be. As in one, we see media coverage of sexual assault going up, distrust in government going up, and the other, we see that even as Bill Clinton is lying and committing all these acts and evidence is coming out against him, his approval rating is staying the same or improving. Therefore, we had to choose our expected findings based on kind of our gut feeling. Therefore, we expect to find that the increasing media coverage of sexual assault allegations, such as the #MeToo movement, have negatively affected female voters' trust in government, particularly when it comes to their civil rights.
For the limitations of our study, it's a non-experimental design, which means we cannot determine causation, but we can determine correlation. Also, we're expecting a lot of participants, which will be costly and timely. Also, there's always a risk of error in human subjects. We have a very low external validity because our subjects are very specific in age group and gender and area. Also, the issue of hindsight, because we were asking participants to answer questions about how they felt prior to 2016, and it is in fact 2018. For improvements, we can do an alternative form method test, which would be a classical experimental design using a news coverage clip as stimulus and having the same survey as with the original study.
That's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We did it.